It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show.
Welcome to the Dep Lewis Show, episode 110. This is your host, Dep Lewis, and today is Sunday, January 5th, 2025. It's a happy new year to you and to me out there. So, welcome to the Dep Lewis Show. I hope you're doing great out there in the world. Thank you for being here. The first order of business is to ask you to follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Full episodes of Dep Lewis Show available anywhere you can find a podcast. So find the best place to subscribe and listen weekly. Places like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Amazon Music, and more. Twitch.tv/Dep Lewis Show is a great place to follow. If you'd like to support the show even further than just listening, Patreon.com/Dep Lewis Show is available if you'd like to subscribe monthly. Also, Venmo at Dep Lewis Show is available any day, anytime, for any amount if you would like to support the show. So for today's show, we're going to have our three sections as always. The first section would be what video games I've been playing since I've last talked to you. The second section, the mid section, even though it's not mid in quality, it's the middle section. I tell you about what's going on around the video game world, news, releases, happenings, etc., etc. And the third section of the show is the miscellaneous talk section, where I can talk about anything I want to outside of the video game world. So I give you and myself a break from video games, and we talk about anything across the universe you can think of, but we usually focus on the worldwide world of sports and tell you about what's going on with my favorite teams. So that's the plan. Welcome here. Welcome to the show. Happy New Year. If you're a new-time listener, Happy New Year and welcome. If you're a long-time listener, welcome back. And it's going to be another great year of podcasts. So I just want to set that record straight. It's going to be a great year of podcast in 2025 for the Dep Lewis Show. The podcast is going to stay, I wrote it's going to stay and be more news-focused going forward. So I've been kind of focusing on that more so than my just like in-depth thoughts on video games. I don't know if I have too many of those, but I just kind of enjoy them. But this is going to be a news show. I'm going to talk about everything going on that I like to follow and keep up with and bring that information here to you on the Dep Lewis Show. So one thing for the new year, I'm thinking of also, I've been playing around with this the last couple of weeks, is starting streaming a little bit. So actually figuring out my setup and what my capabilities are with the equipment that I have currently. And I can do a makeshift streaming, be on camera and have a microphone. I can hear the video game and I can play. And I've tried it on a few multiple systems. So I think I got some of the kinks figured out enough to get started. So possibly in the new year, you could see me on some type of streaming schedule. So, not 100% guaranteeing that, but I'm gonna start shooting for that. Maybe Tuesdays and Thursdays is what I'm thinking. Maybe more days than that, but maybe just have Tuesdays and Thursdays as the main days, and more days on top of that is just icing on the cake. So we're gonna see. So that's one of my exciting plans for 2025, is to maybe add some streaming on top of podcasting. So that's the plan. So thank you for being a listener. Happy New Year to you. That is the Happy New Year State of the Union for the Dep Lewis Show. It's a cold new year, and it's going to be a good one, I hope. So that's the plan. So welcome. So let's talk about what I've been playing. This is the first section of the show. So what video games have I been playing? So this week, just like the week prior, I've been playing some Paper Mario, the 1,000-Year Door. I actually played this, streaming it a little bit for a couple hours, I guess, and I've been making some progress. So it's been nice. I've been really enjoying the music in this game, playing with the headphones on. While streaming, you're really more tuned into the music, and it's very enjoyable. I have Coops in my party now, so the shy, I guess he's kind of like a depressed or sad Koopa, because his dad has gone away and has not come back. So up there in the crazy Hooktail Castle where the big dragon lives, and Coops is too scared to go up there and try to retrieve his dad. So luckily Mario's on the case, and my Goomba friend, I can't remember her name at this point, but the Goomba lady, who's a good sidekick as well. So now I have two people I can use interchangeably in my party that do different stuff. So the exploratory stuff in this game's been pretty fun for someone who is a little bit stubborn with stuff like that and puzzles. All of it's been pretty easily recognizable of what to do. Not in a bad way. It just takes you a minute. I figured out some puzzles and kind of felt a little bit proud about myself, video game wise. So pretty fun stuff here. Paper Mario, it's a real nice blast from the past. I played some of this back in the day and really loved it, and this game is really pure enjoyment of a video game. It's awesome. Paper Mario, the 1,000-Year Door. So that's what I've been playing. That is one of my main games going on right now. I'm going to talk a little bit more about my gaming plans for the year. So, this is a new year, so I've got to set the tone on what's going on here around the Dep Lewis Show. But I've been playing some Paper Mario, the 1,000-Year Door. Something else I've been playing, and something that I picked up this week, a very great price to pay. It was 80% off, and that is the Contra Anniversary Collection. So this sale ends today if you're listening in real time. I'm assuming this collection goes on sale from time to time, but it is a pretty good sale, 80% off. It was $3.99 US dollars. Originally, it's normally $19.99 on the store for US dollars. This brings the classic run and gun franchise back to modern platforms and a new generation of players. Grab power-ups and blast your way through waves of menacing enemies and bosses that will put your reaction skills to the test. So, in the last week or so, I've been looking at some of these retro games and some of these collections that they have, and I re-downloaded the Mega Man collection that I have, and I have that new Castlevania Dominus collection that I bought last year. So I was a little bit interested in what else is out there on the anniversary collection front, and there were a lot of sales going on, so pretty good time. So this Contra collection was on sale. Contra is something that I've known of, obviously for a long time. I don't know why I say obviously, but I've known of Contra. I don't know if I ever really played it. It's kind of up there in the Metal Slug category with me of a old shooter that I'm not familiar with, but I know a lot of people love. And it's like a classic franchise. I played a good bit of Metal Slug on the Wii, and there was a good anthology or collection that was released for the Wii, and that was one of the first games I purchased. So I think that was kind of my introduction in more recent years for liking these games. And this game's fun. It's hard. It's like the Dark Souls of side-scroller shooters or whatever. It's really difficult, but I think that I do enjoy some platforming. So it's a little bit akin to platforming, where if you're doing those tough alphabet letters in Astrobot, you're having to run through them a whole bunch of times, and you're just doing small sections, and you're making a little bit of progress. And that's kind of the same mentality here I'm using, or that Contra encourages, I guess. So it's fun, and it still holds up. There's a bunch of different games in the collection. I've kind of read that the NES is one of the best versions. So that's the one I've been kind of sticking to mainly, but I think I've tried the first three that are in the list of the collection, and then there is Contra 3 in there, which a lot of people are saying is one of the best ones. So I played a little bit of that too, so it's nice to be able to jump back and forth. It's nice not to have to really worry about save states in these games, because you're just kind of trying to run through them all. But you do have save states on top of it, like a lot of these collections have, and it's been pretty fun. So it's nice to have in my collection. It was very inexpensive and something that I can play when I just don't have a clue of what to play, or if I just want to play something while listening to a podcast, which I've been, playing Paper Mario. I don't really want to listen to a podcast while playing it because it sounds so good, and I think I'm turning into that a little bit more with other video games as well. I normally listen to podcasts while playing most games, but I'm switching my tune up a bit over here, minus a few of these games that are possibly pretty perfect for podcast listening. So just a little bit of a change here for me recently. And what else? But the Contra Anniversary Collection, I don't know if I read this before, but grab power-ups and blast your way through waves of menacing enemies and bosses that will put your reaction skills to the test. And it really does. But it's a simple game. There's not too many controls. There's a lot of games in the collection. Has some good history stuff in there. And it is very fun, because video games are fun. So that's what I've been playing this week. Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door and Contra: The Anniversary Collection. I messed around with a few other things, I think. But that has been the main things I've been playing. So my gaming plans for the year, let's talk about that. So the first 2 years of the show, we had the year of survival horror. Was the first year of the Dep Lewis Show. So it was a year of focusing on the survival horror genre and seeing what I like and dislike, and just checking out the new releases more so than you normally would, or backlog stuff. And last year was the year of the RPG, a great, wonderful year, playing some Final Fantasy, stuff like that. RPG, one of my new favorite genres. I'm playing Paper Mario: Thousand Year Door. So RPGs are trending upwards for me. And what is this year going to be on the Dep Lewis Show? I thought about having nothing as the year, because just going to focus on the podcast and getting the video game news out there to the world and things like that. But I like having a theme, and it's fun. It's something to focus on and have a little bit of a sideshow game here on the Dep Lewis Show. So 2025 on the Dep Lewis Show is going to be the year of the backlog. So anything that's in my backlog, or anything I want to add to my backlog that's not a new release, is up for grabs in this year of the backlog. So that's a wide range of things, which I think is nice. So it's not too specific. But the way I'm going to kind of think of it is I'm going to have a retro backlog and I have a modern backlog. So retro, I think, is going to be anything Wii, PS3, Xbox 360 generation and before. So I think all those consoles are around 2006-ish time. So that's going to be considered retro to me, because that's, I don't know, it's like 15 years if you go to the end of those life cycles or something like that, maybe a decade or something like that. But those are going to be considered retro. So anything before the Wii, PS3, Xbox, and including those are going to be considered retro to me in this version of my backlog. And then modern will be anything Wii U, PS4, Xbox One, and beyond. I think the Nintendo 3DS is a little bit of a mix. I think it's kind of right on the edge of this retro modern timeline. I think that's the only little bit of a hang up I had in here, so I don't know. I haven't really been playing the 3DS too much. I've picked up a few games sort of recently for it, but not necessarily playing it. But this is my idea for the year of the backlog. So I'm gonna plan to have a running list of games. It can change from time to time. Stuff can be added, stuff can be taken away. But for what I have right now, my retro backlog will be Super Mario Sunshine, Metroid Prime Remastered, Super Mario RPG, and Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. So a couple of these games, Super Mario RPG, I'm already a good ways of the way through. Paper Mario Thousand Year Door I'm playing right now. Super Mario Sunshine is a Mario that I've never completed and would love to do so, and I already own it. And then Metroid Prime Remastered, I purchased that, I guess not too long after that was re-released, and I've played some of it and had a lot of fun, and something that I need to play more of, and I would love to complete a Metroid game, so that's why I'm adding it on this list. So Metroid Prime Remastered can get me prepared for Metroid Prime 4, hopefully, and that's the plan for the retro backlog. And then the modern backlog, what I have right now is The Witcher 3, which I've been playing, which I think I did make some Witcher 3 progress this week. Uncharted 4, I played and loved all Uncharted 1, 2, and 3, and I've never completed 4. I maybe made it about halfway through, so I'm going to add that on the backlog list. And then Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, one of my favorite games from last year. A very long video game, but something that I'm making my way through, and that is what's on my list. And the last line item on the year of the backlog is to complete a Zelda game. This can be retro or modern. A little bit of a challenge to myself. I know if you listened to the Dep Lewis Show before, you probably heard this challenge. I never completed a Zelda game. I think I've played mostly every one of them, never completed them. I really, really like them. Sometimes the puzzly stuff will get me, but I mean, there's a million guides out there, and I can figure it out. I could sit there and figure it out, I'm sure. So that is my thought. I need to complete a Zelda game, and what a better year to think about that in the year of the backlog on the Dep Lewis Show. So that's basically it. I'm going to have a list of games I'm trying to complete, and I have one challenge out there to complete a Zelda game, and that is going to be a long-lasting challenge, especially if I don't ever complete one. So, just want to keep hearing stated. So that's the plan. Year of the backlog for 2025 on the Dep Lewis Show, and it's going to be a great year. So Happy New Year to you. This is going to be the end of the first section of the show. You're going to hear some music. We're going to come back for the mid-section, where I tell you about what's going on around the video game world after this. Welcome back to the mid-section of Dep Lewis Show, episode 110. This is where I tell you about what's going on around the video game world. So the first thing I want to tell you about today are some other Game of the Years that have just happened in the past week. So MinnMax, the great show, MinnMax with 2 N's, has wrapped up their Game of the Year discussions. Their 2 10s. And the winner of their 2 10s, their number one Game of the Year was Astro Bot. So they agree with myself and the Game Awards and probably a lot of other people in there that Team Asobi made a wonderful video game with Astro Bot. And I just want to say, go listen to MinnMax's content. They do a really great job with the year-end stuff. They have a lot of people on there, a lot of different personalities and preferences and things like that. And it's a really good. They all seem really, really. They're just really, really fun to listen to, and you get different perspectives. And it's a really great debate about video games. So go check out the MinnMax Game of the Year stuff. It's out now. A Giant Bomb also wrapped up their Game of the Year stuff. It's a little bit bittersweet for me, new Giant Bomb stuff, with being an old fan. But I'm liking the new crew more and more these days. So it seems a little more separate from the old Giant Bomb these days, I guess, as time moves on. And I've never disliked any of the people on the crew. It's just been more of a weird thing of something you love changes up a whole lot, and it might just not be for you anymore. But I've been enjoying it. Dan Riker being back there is super nice. Having him on the discussions is great. A lot of the other people on there as well. Grub, Jan, Lucy, Tamor. Who else is on there? Backlar. There's some new people. Nikki. There's another guy. I think his name's Scott. I'm not sure about that. He's a curly head guy. And he's a younger guy, but he seems good too. And Mike Minotti, I like some Mike Minotti. I follow his stream. So Giant Bomb doing some great things. And their Game of the Year was Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. So that game deserves it, I believe. That's a game I have in the mail. I ordered a copy from Best Buy. I think I got it for $15, or it was on sale for $19, and I had a $5 coupon. I'm just waiting on it to show up in the mail. It's something I played the demo of, and something that Ubisoft was not happy with the performance of the sales, but it was kind of critically acclaimed. So I figured this is a game I need to own and support, and something I can have in my collection and something to play in the future. And just a really great game. I think in a lot of ways it added a lot of stuff to the Metroidvania genre and things that might be used by the genre going forward, possibly a lot of kind of quality of life improvements is from what I can tell. And I do have a fondness for the Prince of Persia franchise in general. So seems like a pretty cool pick there for the Giant Bomb. They kind of said they wanted to be different. I think that's whatever. If it's your outlet, you can do whatever you want. But I think you should truly pick what you think your favorite game is. And there was some discussion with that of, what I think MinnMax kind of did that too, and Nextlander. So, I mean, I guess if you're in a group setting, you're considering that. But, being solo over here on the Dep Lewis Show Awards, I get to just consider myself. So that is a luxury that I have here on this show, I guess. And then, I just mentioned them. Nextlander, they wrapped up their Game of the Year stuff this week. They kind of do more of a celebration of their favorite games rather than a debate. So they all kind of just go down their list and say, hey, this is my number 3, this is my number 2, this is my number 1. They did a little bit of, kind of trying to guess from, rankings of high stuff, what their favorite games were. And it would be, they had Astrobot up there. Brad's was Kunitsigami, Path of the Goddess, which is something I need to play. I didn't know that game was related to Okami in some way, and I have that on a wish list now to check it out some more and get some more information from it. But he had Balatro as his Game of the Year first. I think some other the guys there liked Balatro too, so that was kind of what was going on there with their Games of the Year. But wonderful podcast, wonderful shows I listen to weekly, and their Game of the Year stuff is officially out there. So they were waiting until the end of the year, just like me, to put some of this stuff out there. So please go support those other outlets if you love video game podcasting content, like the Dep Lewis Show. Hopefully I can be in the same category as them. They're things I really enjoy, and hopefully you do too. All right, so what else is going on around the video game world? Not a ton of news really this week, but I do have a few things to tell you about, and then we're going to kind of talk about what's going to go on for the whole year here with video game releases. A little bit of an overlook is what I would call it. But the first few things are kind of normal news stuff. Splatoon 3 is a winner of the Dep Lewis Show Video Game of the Year, and a wonderful video game. They have a new Frosty Fest or a new Splatfest that's upcoming. You can go pick your sides right now, and it's actually taking place next weekend. So it starts on January 10th, 2025, and goes through Sunday. So next weekend you can play in the new Splatfest, the Frosty Fest. And the question here is, what would make you happiest? Money, experiences, or presents? And I hopped back into Splatoon 3 just to see. I thought this Frosty Fest was actually going on this weekend. I was going to play some, but I actually just got in there and I picked my side, and I'll play some of this next weekend as a plan. And I think money would make me happiest out of these 3. Experiences involve traveling, something I like doing a little bit, very minimally. I'm scared of heights and flying, so I don't always want to sign up for some type of experience going somewhere. And then presents are nice, of course, but money, you can buy what you want, and then you can buy other people things. So I don't know. I'm going with the money out of this crew of things, and that's what I'm going to fight for here in the upcoming Frosty Fest on Splatoon 3. And then also to celebrate Frosty Fest, some gear from Splatoon. I wrote Splatoon 3, but I believe it's Splatoon 2 is making its return. So they always have some new items and gear and things like that in the game. They make it very festive. It's actually very fun. It's not really game changing to how the game plays, but they put a lot of trappings around it that make these events feel special every time, and it's a really fun thing, and it's impressive, and it's cool to have it still going. And I need to play some more Splatoon 3 in 2025. It's a wonderful, amazing, exciting, lovely, outstanding time of a video game, Splatoon 3. All right, more news. Minecraft 2 has seemingly been announced, very allegedly, we will wait and see, but the Minecraft creator, Marcus Notch Person, I believe is how you say his last name. I'm not all the way sure there, but I believe people call him Notch is what his nickname is. And he says on social media he intends to start working on Minecraft 2. He's currently working on the game set to be a traditional roguelike, but polling his audience if they would want for Minecraft 2, and Minecraft 2 had an overwhelming majority. So Notch sold Minecraft to Microsoft years ago. So I don't think the game can be called Minecraft 2 is what some article was saying, but it seems like this will be more of a spiritual successor. So this guy has some extreme video game creation chops, and people should rightfully so be interested in what his next game is going to be, and trying to make a spiritual successor to one of the most popular games of all time is a tough order. And we will see. Maybe, I don't know if he's abandoning his roguelike game, but he's trying to add some other stuff in the mix. Minecraft was first released in 2009, still going strong. I know a lot of people want that to play that on the Switch, or I don't think it's on the Switch, but people want it to come to the Switch. With Switch 2 rumors, possibly it will, but Minecraft is a very successful video game, and potentially the spiritual successor to Minecraft will be coming at some point. All right, Tango Gameworks, officially back as a studio. This is the developers of Hi-Fi Rush, which was owned by Xbox or Microsoft, and they got disbanded after the critically acclaimed Hi-Fi Rush, which was a shocking thing in the video game world. From 2023, the rhythm-based video game Tango Gameworks Studio has been reborn as Tango Gameworks Inc. So kind of like the creator of Clover Studio. When that got closed down, they renamed it Clovers when it came back open. So I like that just a little bit of sly changes here. Tango Gameworks Inc. is now what it's called, proudly joining Craft On Inc., which is their and then their mothership or their owning company. We're excited to continue crafting games that bring joy to players around the world. Thank you for your continued support as we embark on this new journey. I think it would be a very smart idea to make a Hi-Fi Rush 2. You can kind of tell the whole story about the history stuff, maybe have Hi-Fi Rush included in the collection or something like that. Could be really, really cool, and something that I wonder what they're doing. But Tango Gameworks officially back as Tango Gameworks Inc. And congratulations to all those people there that got to keep their job and keep being creative on that team. All right, I alluded to some, and everybody's been alluding to Switch 2 rumors, but just a little bit of a check-in. There's a lot of those going around. We're supposed to have some announcement from Nintendo before the end of March, I believe, is the deal here based on some investor call way back in the day. So we should seemingly have some type of announcement before then. When's this thing going to be released? All sorts of speculation out there. Maybe it'll be released in March. Maybe it'll be June. Maybe it'll be July. I heard one thing saying that the price is going to be $500 or greater. That seems like a change. We're talking about backwards compatibility here, possibly. There are some rumored shots of the Switch 2 motherboard out there, talking about AI is going to be used to help upscale some things or help make these games look better or more comparable to like PC or modern games or modern generation consoles. There's also been some pictures of the controller out there. But just from a high-level look, it seems like everything with the Switch 2 is kind of going as we expect. It's just going to be a beefier Switch. It's going to have backwards compatibility, and it's going to have some small, minimal changes. How much power and how much stuff it's going to be able to run as far as third-party, that's going to be kind of one of the biggest questions I think we still have left. I think the console is probably going to launch with some big hitters from Nintendo, but also going to launch with like, hey, you can now play Elden Ring on here. Hey, you can now play Horizon Zero Dawn on here. Hey, you can now play, I don't know how far it'll go with some of these things, but there's going to be people wanting to put their games on this platform, and there's probably a lot of wheeling and dealing going on based on the capabilities of this hardware. So we will see. I'm very excited, very tuned in. I think that's the biggest thing I'm looking forward to this year. I need to start putting my coins together to save up and be prepared to buy one of these things when it comes out or pre-order when I'm able to. So that's something good to remind myself of now and remind you too. That if this thing gets announced, there could possibly be a pre-order like a couple weeks out. And that's something that you might want to grab if you're trying to get one of these on release. Because I don't know if I was in the market for getting a Switch. I don't know if I was able to buy one when it first came out. I don't remember if they were hard to get or if I was just waiting to get one. I don't really remember, but I think I got my first Switch like a year later, possibly. So we'll see. Hopefully I can get a Switch 2 when it comes out, and that will be my hope. But there's a lot of rumors going out there, and I of course will tell you about anything official when it comes out. All right, so what's going on this year for video games? I just want to kind of set the tone for the year, what's coming out, what I'm looking forward to, and what I think the big releases for me would be. So for January, just a quick January breakdown, Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, something that I picked up on the Nintendo 3DS recently for very, very cheap. So I don't know if I'm going to pick this up, but it looks like a cool game that I want to play at some point. This Switch version will be $59.99 US. It releases on January 16th, 2025, a great day for a birthday out there. Friend of the show, happy birthday on that day. Help Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong recover their precious banana hoard from the villainous Tiki Tack tribe in this visually enhanced version of the Wii game. Stomp enemies, blast through barrels, and ride rockets, minecarts, and even ram by the Rhino in 80 levels across 9 worlds, including the additional levels from the Nintendo 3DS version. You can even join up with a buddy for 2-player local co-op on January 16th. King Tut's birthday, friend of the show. So Donkey Kong Country Returns HD looks like a cool release for Nintendo in January. People have been complaining about this because it's been released on 3DS and Wii. That's not too long ago, but hey, this is a way to play it on the Switch, which is a good thing and a way to introduce it to a new base of people, and you also do not have to purchase this. 2 great games that are coming from PlayStation 5 to PC in January. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth releases on January 23rd, 2025 for PC. $69.99 US for this game, full price, but you can pre-purchase right now for 30% off, which is a good deal. And this is all the way up until release date, it looks like, for $48.99 US if you want to pre-purchase this game right now. The unknown journey continues after escaping from the dystopian city of Midgar. Cloud and his friends set out on a journey across the planet. New adventures await in a vibrant and vast world in this standalone entry to the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy. So a game that's currently in my rotation and coming to PC is a cool thing. Spider-Man 2 is also coming to PC. This is one of my favorite games of the last few years. It could be one of my favorite games of all time. It releases on January 30th, 2025 for PC. There's no price tag being shown, but I'm saying this is most likely going to be a full price game. $69.99 US is my guess. Be greater together. The incredible power of the symbiote forces Peter Parker and Miles Morales into a desperate fight as they balance their lives, friendships, and their duty to protect in an exciting chapter of the critically acclaimed Spider-Man franchise on PC. So a really wonderful video game. Only going to look better on these really high-end beefy PCs, and the standard flow of these games coming to PS5 and then coming to PC later. The world is ever meshing together with these video games, and exclusives are becoming more of a wait and see. Then I got to have this console. So I don't know. I don't think I have too much of a problem with that. I like all the options out here, and I am thankful that I have options to play. All right, the rest of the year, big highlights. So there really are not a lot of video games coming out this year that are immediately going to be day one purchases for me. I think for this year, it being the year of the backlog, I need to focus on games that I already have that I think are really cool and that I want to play more of. And I think, doing the show for a couple years now, I think in the last couple of years, there's really only a handful of games that I play a lot of that are new releases and I really enjoy. So each year I've been having a category best video game of the year, and I've been having a best video game from a prior year. So it's been I don't know, it's been not hard, but not able to make like a full top 10 list unless I'm just really playing a little bit of a lot of games. So this year I think I'm going to focus on less releases, and I really don't think there are too many releases that really deserve my hard-earned cash out here on day one. So I kind of think that's a little bit of the way I'm going here too. With the way the video game world's changing, you might not have to buy these games on day one because they're not coming out in a fully realized state, or you can get them cheaper later when they're in a more functional state and have all their features in there, kind of thing. So I think it's smarter to be cautious these days. And that's kind of the theme I'm going into over here on the year for these new releases. But there are a few that I'm excited for. Monster Hunter Wilds in February 28th, 2025, $69.99 US. Prepare to explore a wild and unrelenting new frontier featuring dynamic, ever-changing environments, a story of monsters and humans coexisting in the Forbidden Lands, a world with two faces, one in which the lands are harsh and unforgiving, where monsters fight for scant resources, and another in which the lands are vibrant and brimming with life. Play as professional monster hunter assigned to the Forbidden Lands Research Commission, tasked with protecting the balance of the ecosystem and hunting monsters. Use the resources you gain from hunts to craft ever more powerful weapons and armor in your quest to unravel mysteries of the new land. So, Monster Hunter, a series I've never really played too much of. Something I'd like to pick up, maybe one of Rise or World on the cheap before picking this up. But this game definitely looks really cool. Has some crazy graphical fidelity. The Monster Hunter franchise is a giant franchise, outside of me. Even a lot of people love this franchise, and it's very, very popular without me, is what I'm saying. So something I'm interested in, a current gen Monster Hunter Wilds. I don't think this is coming to prior gen consoles, but don't quote me there. So it's going to be, built for these new consoles, and I think they have a pretty good success rate with these Monster Hunter games. So something that I'm definitely interested in. I could see myself picking up, but this one's on the little bit lower end radar, not like a definite thing, but something I'd be interested in. Another game kind of in that same category, maybe a little more interested for this, would be Pokemon Legends Z through A. A new adventure awaits within Lumio City, where an urban redevelopment plan is underway to shape the city into a place that belongs to both people and Pokemon. So I guess this is the next mainline Pokemon game. I'm a pretty big Pokemon fan. I've been a little bit disappointed with some of these recent releases, but this is something that, if it's coming out and it seems like it's going to be pretty good, this will probably be a day one purchase for me in 2025. All right, two more games I have that'll be day one purchases for me in 2025 would be Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. The galaxy's greatest bounty hunter Samus Aran will embark on a new mission coming to Nintendo Switch in 2025. So especially, I have Metroid Prime Remastered on my backlog to complete. I would love to complete that and then be able to purchase Metroid Prime 4 Beyond when it releases later in the year in 2025, seemingly on a Switch too. So if all my ducks are in a row, I'm going to complete Metroid Prime Remastered. I'm going to get a Switch 2. I'll be playing Metroid Prime 4 Beyond for next holiday. So, there's some good wishes right there for myself. Another game that people don't necessarily think will come out in 2025, but is possible, is Grand Theft Auto 6. That will be a day one purchase for me for sure. I'm a long-time fan of Grand Theft Auto and Rockstar games. I love Red Dead Redemption as well. And then Grand Theft Auto 6, you head to the state of Leonida, home to the neon-soaked streets of Vice City and beyond, in its biggest, most immersive evolution of the Grand Theft Auto series yet. So a lot of hype around this. It's going to be one of the most popular, best-selling video games of all time. Hopefully it's going to be a fun video game to play, and innovative and cool and fun, and just a modern Grand Theft Auto for the new ages. And I'll definitely be excited for that, and that's going to be a monumental release whenever it does release. So that's kind of, for the most part, the new Pokemon game, the new Metroid Prime, and Grand Theft Auto. Those would be the three I'd be looking to pick up this year, possibly Monster Hunter Wilds. And then other games just in 2025 that I think are going to, have my attention as well, but maybe not be a day one purchase, would be Elden Ring Night Rain. That's the 3-player co-op Elden Ring. Judas, which is Ghost Story Games or Ken Levine's new game coming out seemingly this year. Borderlands 4, I'd have some interest. Capcom Fighting Collection 2, I've been into those Capcom Fighting Collections and collections recently, so I'll have my eyes on that for sure. Death Stranding 2 on the beach. I have Death Stranding 1, I haven't played it. Just a really, really cool, interesting game. So I'll be interested in that release. And then Ghost of Yotei, same with that. I haven't completed Ghost of Tsushima, but I played some of it. I think it's extremely cool. I would like to get to Ghost of Yotei at some point. So those are kind of the other big releases for the year that I think are going to be things that I'm talking about here on the Dep Lewis Show, and talking about them when they release, even if I don't purchase them. So, there's some good stuff for the year. But it being the year of the backlog on the Dep Lewis Show, I got all sorts of stuff to play, so no complaints over here. But, Dep Lewis Show, this show is going to be a great show for you to listen to throughout the year, to keep you updated with what's coming out and what's releasing and rumors and things like that. So that's going to wrap up the mid section of the show this week. All the video game news you need to know. I talked about other game of the years being wrapped up: MinnMax, Giant Bomb, Nextlander. Splatoon 3 has an upcoming Frosty Fest next weekend. Minecraft 2 is allegedly going to be started, or the spiritual successor to Minecraft 2 is going to be in the works sometime soon. Tango Gameworks is now officially back as Tango Gameworks Inc. A lot of Switch 2 rumors out there. I'm going to be talking about some Switch 2 confirmed things on this show pretty soon, I think. So that's going to be very, very exciting. We broke down what's coming out in January: Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Spider-Man 2 coming to PC. And then we talked about some of the rest of the year highlights with Monster Hunter Wilds, Pokemon Legends Z through A, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, Grand Theft Auto 6, and then other games releasing in 2025 as well that are interesting. So all sorts of great video game stuff to start the year. And just thank you for listening to this first mid-section of all the video game news that you need to know on episode 110. So we're going to listen to some music. We're going to come back for the miscellaneous talk section after this. And we're going to talk about what's going on around the sports world. There's actually a Panthers game starting in 1 minute. So I'm going to talk about the Panthers game today and more after this music. Welcome back to the final section of Dep Lewis Show, episode 110. This is the miscellaneous talk section where I can talk about anything I want to outside the video game world. So like I've been saying, I want to talk about some sports over here. The Carolina Panthers are playing right now. So it's 1 o'clock on Sunday, and the Panthers are playing the Falcons today in the last game of the season. They're down there in Atlanta. Sort of just a game more for the mojo, moral victory, but also a little bit of a draft position kind of thing. That's the kind of thing to look for after this game, where the Panthers are going to line up in the draft for next year, since the Panthers aren't playing for the playoffs or anything like that. There are just like last week, we didn't see any Chuba. There's not going to be any JC, I don't believe. The Panthers lost to the Bucs last week in a kind of a deflated effort. It wasn't really a close game. The Panthers lost 14-48. Bryce was 15 of 28, 203 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 5 sacks for 38 yards. Still some pretty good things shown from Bryce out there, but they just really couldn't get things clicking as a whole, and Baker Mayfield really went off on them. No running game really to speak of last week. Adam Thielen had 5 catches, 110 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I kind of hope they're going to have Adam Thielen on the team again next year. He's been super consistent when he's been on the field. Chandler Wooten, number 57, led tackles with 14 total. So we've been seeing that week to week, that the Panthers have been having different guys, even some kind of like lesser known guys coming in and leading the team in tackles. So maybe they have some more good, inexpensive options out here on the squad that they can sign, which would be nice. Xavier Woods was second in tackles with 12. So the Panthers were 4-12 after last week. And they're playing the Falcons today. Friend of the show, Pab, has bet the under on Panthers 4.5 wins. So there's a little bit of contention there up in the air for him, which is fun to watch. So, please gamble responsibly out there in the world, but it does add some fun to some of this stuff. J.C. Horn got nominated to the Pro Bowl, so congratulations to him. Hope the Panthers can pay him a big bag of money to stay around. I'm just holding my breath. I'm not going to hold my breath on that because I don't really know how they're going to handle that situation. And then guard Robert Hunt, Chuba, and punter Johnny Hecker are Pro Bowl alternates. So pretty good stuff there. Chuba, one of the greatest Panthers on the team right now. Robert Hunt, a wonderful signing. And Johnny Hecker has been doing some good stuff for the Panthers for a good while now. So go Panthers. I hope they get a win today, actually. I don't want them to lose. I wouldn't mind them having a better draft pick. I think they're sitting 6 right now. They can get up to 2 or they can fall as far as 9. So I don't think we need to take a quarterback. So I think just taking a good player to add to our team, hopefully a defensive guy or a receiver would be the plan there. And I don't think the pick matters, the slot matters, but I think we're kind of in the same position either way with who they're going to take as their pick. So the Panthers game's kicking off right now in real time. So I'm going to be watching that after this podcast today. And go Panthers. Another, not a great season, but there's been some good stuff overall. I'm happy about Bryce. I'm happy about Chuba. I am happy about J.C. Horn. Derek Brown needs to come back healthy. Josie Jewell's been playing great. Mike Jackson's been playing great. I hope they sign him. I think I said Derek Brown needs to come back. Javian Clowney's been a nice addition. Some of the other, Jalen Coker's been nice. David Moore, they should sign him. He's been playing great. Jatavian Sanders has been getting better. The offensive line's been playing good. So there's been some good stuff going on with the Panthers. I think Dave Canales is coming into his own. So, hopefully a good 2025 for the Panthers coming up. And we will see how it goes today against the Falcons. So, go Panthers. Another bit of football news I want to report here on the Dep Lewis Show for history's sake. Fantasy football. I'm a player of fantasy football. I've been playing at least since 2013. And I've never won until this year. I am the winner of fantasy football. In the great League of Legends that I am in, I've won fantasy football. First place finish. I beat the ever-winning Sanfi, and friend of the show. He's won many a fantasy football championship, and actually, I got to beat him to get the ship this year. So congratulations to me. I've had 2 second-place finishes before in my history and 2 third-place finishes, so now I've gotten over the mountaintop. I am no longer just a bridesmaid. I am a bride over here in the fantasy football world. So shout out to my team. I had Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels, Kyler Murray, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Jahmyr Gibbs, Devon Achane, and Chase Brown, kind of my top dogs for the year. And then I had DJ Moore on my squad too, who I always try to have. So it's nice to have DJ Moore on the championship team with me. So what a wonderful season. Very thankful to win. I enjoy playing fantasy football every year. It's extremely fun. I've been missing playing it this week, and I'm looking forward to playing fantasy baseball in March. So that's my next fantasy hope. And, just wanted to brag about myself a little bit there. Just very excited to win fantasy football. All right, so let's talk about some NBA news. Not really too many things going on with all my favorite teams. The Charlotte Hornets have been doing a lot of losing since I've last talked to you. Monday versus Chicago, the Hornets lost in overtime, 108-115, so lost all their steam in overtime. Friday at Detroit, the Hornets lost 94-98. Actually lost a bet for me there. So another rule, you should not bet against or for teams. I generally try not to bet on teams I like day to day. So that was a mistake there a little bit on my part, and there was a good example of that biting me in the you-know-what. The Hornets were 7-26 record-wise after this game. The Hornets play today against Cleveland, at Cleveland, so Cleveland's very good, so that should probably be a loss. And next week, the Hornets are playing Phoenix, Lakers, Clippers, and Phoenix again. So a lot of basketball to be played in the upcoming week. And I might actually go see a Hornets game this month. There's actually a bunch of them at home, so probably looking at the calendar for some of those, and we'll report to you how that is. But the Atlanta Hawks, they won last Sunday against Toronto, 136-107, so a pretty good beat down there. Wednesday at Denver, the Hawks lost 120-139, so not too close. Friday at the Lakers, the Hawks lost 102-119. So a lot of losing on my favorite teams here. The Hawks are 18-17 record-wise after this game. Saturday, the Hawks lost to the Clippers, 105-131. And next week, the Hawks play Utah, Phoenix, and Houston. So not a lot of good stuff going on in the basketball world for me. A little bit of hope for the Hawks this year, but the Hornets have been doing a lot of losing. The Atlanta Braves, my favorite baseball team, is in the offseason. Nothing to report there. Spring training begins February 22nd, and the first game of the regular season is March 27, 2025, at the Padres. Been looking into some games to go to and go see the Braves play in person, which I always like to do, and that is hopefully going to be the plan again for 2025. Other MLB news, Corbin Burns, he signed 6 years, $210 million with the Diamondbacks. Charlie Morton sadly signs 1 year, $15 million with the Orioles. I wish the Braves would have paid that. I really don't understand that move at all. Hyun-Sung Kim signs 3 years, $12.5 million deal with the Dodgers. Last Friday was his deadline to sign with a major league team. The 25-year-old, apparently elite defender at multiple positions, second, short, third, and outfield. He spent his 8 years previously with the Kaiwoom Heroes, a professional South Korean baseball team. So the Dodgers just keep getting everybody, which makes me kind of mad there. But that's the baseball news I have for you this week in free agency. Nothing good to report for the Braves, which is sad, but I am excited for the baseball season in 2025. Excited to watch Ronald Acuna be healthy and excited to see what they can do. But, I'm really bummed out about Max Fried being gone, Charlie Morton being gone. I'm glad Chris Sale is still there. I want Spencer Strider to be back healthy, which I don't think he will be for the beginning of the season. And I don't know. I'm a little bit bummed on the offseason for the Braves. But whatever. I'm excited to watch, and I'm really excited for baseball in a couple months. So that's going to wrap up all the sports talk for today. I'm going to wrap this up and go watch the Panthers game and see if they can get a win to close out the season. So we talked about the Panthers, who are playing the Falcons today in the final game of the season. We talked about myself winning fantasy football, which is congratulations to me. We talked about the Hornets, the Hawks, the Atlanta Braves, and overall MLB news. So that is all the miscellaneous talk I have for you today. And that's actually going to wrap up this entire show, this entire first show of the new year. So I want to reiterate some promotional talk from the beginning. Follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Full episodes of Dep Lewis Show available anywhere you can find a podcast. Find the best place to subscribe and listen weekly. Places like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Amazon Music, and more. Twitch.tv/Dep Lewis Show is a great place to follow. If you'd like to support the show even further than just listening, Patreon.com/Dep Lewis Show is available. If you'd like to subscribe monthly, also Venmo at Dep Lewis Show is available any day, anytime for any amount if you'd like to support the show. Just thank you for listening. Happy New Year to you. Hope you're going to have a wonderful year out there in the world. I hope you're going to come back every week and listen to the Dep Lewis Show. I hope you'll come check out my streams if I start streaming. And just thank you for being out there in the world. Hope you have a wonderful year. And just thank you for being a Dep Lewis Show listener. I will see you next week for another episode of Dep Lewis Show. Happy New Year.